Welcome, everybody. I'm Stephen Douglas. Welcome to the first ever Douglas Restoration podcast. I'm here with the old man, Mike Douglas, my dad. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I'm to be here with Brendan, our sales manager. How you doing, Brendan?
I'm doing good.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. We have a really exciting, hour ahead of us. We've never done a podcast before, and we're really looking forward to just kind of talking about the industry, talking about our company, talking about what's new, what's old, what's fresh. And the biggest thing is we just hit 6 months from Hurricane Ian.
It's been busy.
Yeah.
It's 6 months.
Wow. Yeah. It's been the craziest 6 months of my life, honestly. Yeah. I don't know about you, but
no, I agree. And you guys have worked every storm from Katrina on.
Yeah, I mean, this is not even my first hurricane. I mean, my dad brought me to Hurricane Katrina. We were literally, we tried to go get a hotel, and we pulled up on the interstate on I-10, and we had to stay 2 hours away, and we slept in our trucks.
I was going to say, weren't you in tents?
And
first we had a campground.
Yeah.
That's right.
And then we rented that, what storage place?
Yeah.
We all lived in little storage rooms.
Yeah. My dad built these showers outside for us to take showers.
Wasn't what you thought. You thought you were just going to go there, scoop up money.
Yeah.
Instead, you're living in a tent.
But I mean, a lot of people have been in this area, Lee County, Charlotte County, mostly have been very affected by this hurricane. Me personally, my house got flooded, and several of our sales reps' houses got flooded and damaged. We've roofed almost 30 houses a week since the hurricane.
Yeah, we're up to 40 right now.
That's crazy.
I know.
It's unbelievable, and we just
three counties.
Everybody's been so busy and just running around, and it's really nice just to get in here into the studio and just kind of talk about a little bit about what we've learned, what's been happening. As the sales manager of Douglas Restoration, what has been some of the challenges with dealing with this hurricane?
Other than just being super busy, not knowing which way is left to right, just people calling, scheduling, dealing with people that are misplaced. That's part of it. You're trying to put priority when 3 counties have damage. Everyone needs a roof. You got people with minor damage to literally living in trailers, like you were just saying when you went to Katrina. So just scheduling has been a
now
major nightmare.
When the hurricane first came through, obviously we're getting a lot of calls into the office. We've pumped up our marketing, and we didn't even really need to, but because we're local, right? And all these people start asking us to come tarp their roof. And I believe you had set up a crew.
A few crews. Yeah. We were running crazy. Yeah. It was sun up to sundown, just running, trying to help people. And then bringing new salesmen aboard. I'd work from sun up to sundown, tarping, getting people signed up, helping them with that immediate, they literally have water coming in their house. So it's tarping roofs. And then the new salesmen, and then I do training at my house till about 11 or midnight at night, teaching them the roofing industry and what to look for.
And our office actually sustained damage. We were without power for 10 or 15 days.
Yeah, knocked our whole power pole down. We had to wait for FPL.
And so my father-in-law, he let us use his house. And so, we're basically back to the beginnings of Douglas Restoration, running the company out of my house.
Yeah.
That's what was happening.
Yeah. And reception and girls working from home and we couldn't even go to the office. Not to mention your house was flooded. I mean, what'd you have, 4 foot of water?
Yeah.
In a non-flood zone?
No flood zone. And the canal just came up, wrecked our house. We weren't even able to stay the night there. That night we stayed the night, and then we haven't been back since.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Dad, what's it been like for you meeting with some of these clients, talking to them, hearing their stories? Because you're the type of guy that when you go meet with somebody, you're not just there for the sale. You really ask them the get to know you questions. What's it been like? Have people been opening up to you about what's going on?
Well, everybody has a story. No, there's not one person that I go see that doesn't have a a story. Now you can listen to them for an hour or two.
Yeah. Once they get talking.
once they get going, it's hard to slow them down. But the number one thing that everybody has to say to me is, what do I do about my insurance?
Yeah.
That's what they want to know.
There's a lot of people that have problems with their insurance companies right now.
Yeah.
A lot of people. I meet with people constantly that they don't understand the paperwork that their insurance company gives them. Has that been something that you've ran across?
Oh, major problem with these insurance companies. I mean, legally they have like 90 days to respond, and we're sitting at 6 months with people that have had zero communication, or they've changed their adjuster maybe 5 times.
5 times. Yeah, that happens so
It's
many
not even
times.
exaggerating.
Yeah. I had spoken with this lady yesterday, and she said that she has been reassigned 3 times, and she can't get anyone to call her back. She wants to know where her money's, is coming from. Like, when are they going to send the final check? Because she's had all the work done.
Mhm.
And I'm like, yeah, I want to know too,
Yeah.
because I need to get paid for the roof.
Yeah.
And so she's been calling the adjuster. She's been, leaving messages, and people wonder why public adjusters are needed and why lawyers are in this business.
Yeah.
Is it necessary for lawyers to get involved? What do you think?
Well, if lawyers and public adjusters weren't involved, everybody, they'd want you to just do a repair.
Yeah.
That's all they'd want to pay for.
That's
And that's not what the policies that people are paying for. That's not what the policy says.
So these people pay for insurance. They're paying anywhere between $2,500 to $5,000 a year. You pay this insurance on your house so that if you have something go wrong, then the insurance company is going to pay and step up and do the right thing. And what we've seen is countless times that I've gone to customers' houses and they can't get the adjuster to call them back. They don't know what the money is that got sent. They don't know what it's for. They can't read the documents. They haven't been explained, like, hey, this is your roofing funds. These are your interior funds. Sorry, your pool cage wasn't covered on your policy. That's happened a lot.
Oh, I didn't, like, so many people thought their pool cage was covered, and they're coming back like, oh no, it wasn't offered. And the people asked for full insurance on their house and everything that's attached.
Right.
And guess what? That's not covered, or this isn't covered, or, oh, sorry, you have this type of policy. I mean, the tricks that they play, they're not really out to do what you think that they're going to do.
So we've heard a lot about insurance companies in Florida. There's a lot of insurance companies, just about weekly, one of them announces that they're bankrupt and that they don't have enough money.
Yeah.
What?
How?
Where is the money?
Right? Yeah. I mean, it's funny because the big one, we won't drop any names, but the big one that just filed bankruptcy, I think their CEO made 26 mil last year. So, 1 million a month probably isn't enough.
Wow.
Yeah. And then that trickles down. That's just top
Right.
salary. I mean, the money's there. It's just.
So there's no doubt that in Florida, insurance policies are going up, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And insurance companies are starting to come up with different rules for their roof. What are they going to, how old can a roof be before they don't insure it? What do we know about that?
So as it stands now, you get the letter in about 18 to 20 years. They changed that. They did drop it last year or the year before to where people were getting that letter in 10 years. So you got a 10-year-old, you got a 30-year-old roof, a 30-year-old warranty on a roof. After 10 years old, the insurance company's telling you to change it.
Right.
So that's upped a little bit to 15, 18 years. But it's those roofs are supposed to last for 35 years, or 30 years.
I bought my house in Northport. I was paying $1,200 a year in insurance. I'm paying $2,700 this year.
Wow.
And so insurance companies are raising their rates, and they're saying that it's necessary so that they can stay afloat. And they're saying that they don't want to cover roofs after 10 years. They're saying that they how does a homeowner look at this and say and make sense of it? What do you think?
Well, it's a systemic problem. I mean, there's no one area you can go to and say, well, if they just do this, that'd take care of everything.
Mm-hmm.
because the insurance companies, they're not responsible with the premiums they collect. I mean, if one's going out of business over a storm, then they didn't judge the risk right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They should have reserves.
Well, they do, and they have insurance for their insurance. Like
The
all of them are
They have
covered.
reinsurance,
Yeah.
exactly.
But
People don't know all this stuff.
yeah.
And so when they buy a policy, they think they're covered. Well,
Right.
when something happens, they find out that the only thing covered is their kitchen or something.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, it's ridiculous what they do.
Well, I had a lady call me,
Yeah.
right? She called me last week and she said, "Hey, Steven, I need an estimate for my tile roof." And she said, "The insurance company says that they're going to drop me if I don't replace my roof."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Well, when is your policy up for renewal?" She says, "In 30 days. I have 30 days to replace a tile roof."
Yeah. When we're 12 months out on top.
Yeah. I'm like, insurance companies don't realize that homeowners have to order their products, that they're 6 to 8 months out on tile roofs. This homeowner came to me and said, "What do I do?" And so people need to be aware of when their policies are expiring, when they're up for renewal, how old their roof is, when's the last time that they had it checked out. And if you have a roof that's over 10 years old, you're likely that your insurance company is not going to want to carry you, especially if you have a shingle roof. And so I provided this lady with an estimate. She said that she would call me back, and I called her back and I said, "Hey, what did you end up figuring out about your roof?" And she said, "Well," she said, "I talked to my agent and I let him know that the tile was this much amount out. And he said that he's not going to be able to cover us. They're dropping me." And so now she's going to have force placed insurance from her mortgage company. That's like this really high risk policy. And so it's really a big mess. And if you're a homeowner and you're in this process of renewing your insurance, there's several things that, can get you a better rate on your policy. The first thing is your wind mitigation report. Brendan, what do you know about the wind mitigation?
So wind mitigation is basically a checklist. Florida has some extremely strict laws because of the hurricanes and the weather that we get, right? So seems like every hurricane we get, they change it, right? So there's the infamous third nail that came from, what was that, Hurricane Andrew is what changed the third nail. So third nail is basically how your trusses are attached to your wall. They want to know if those are clips or straps and how many nails are in those. So that's on your wind mitigation report. The most recent one was after Hurricane Charlie. They made the nailing pattern. So you got your trusses, and you got decking, which is plywood. The nails that hold that decking on need to be spaced every 6 inches. So if you have a roof that's 15 years old, it needs to be brought up to nail code, which is going to reflect on your wind mitigation report.
Right.
Wind mitigation report, once you're brought up to code, it's going to give you discounts,
premium discounts.
Yeah.
And then what about the peel and stick? What have you always had peel and stick? You've been in the roofing business for a long time.
Well, it used to be the only thing you had was felt, tar paper.
Yeah.
What everybody called it.
Just nail it down.
Yeah. And let me tell you something, as the guy who had to fix things when they broke, if you had a big rainstorm, a tar paper roof was going to leak.
Right.
And so what you do now is you use a product called peel and stick, and it's considered a secondary water barrier. So you have two barriers on your roof.
Mm-hmm.
You have the top layer, which is tile or metal or shingles or whatever kind it is. And then underneath that, you have another layer, which you need to have a roofer who uses peel and stick.
Yeah.
Because that you can leave that sitting there for 6 months and you won't have any problems.
Yeah. The peel and stick underlayment is, I like to describe it to people that it's a sticky back underlayment. And even if your shingles blow off, that peel and stick's still going to be there.
That's right.
And the insurance companies, they love that peel and stick. And the reason why is because it protects the roof from leaking, even if your shingles blow off. Yeah. And we saw that during Hurricane Ian.
Oh, yeah.
How many roofs did you go to that the shingles were gone, but the peel and stick was still there.
Oh, tons of roofs where, I went on roofs that had the tar paper and it was down to the wood, water leaking in every facet of the house.
All the way to the wood.
I've also been to a house that the shingles have blown off and there was nothing but the peel and stick left. And thank God they had the peel and stick. Otherwise, there'd be a lot more drywall damage. And then I also was surprised and proud at our company at how many roofs we went out that was only missing, 2 or 3 ridge caps with 8 hours of 200-mile-an-hour winds.
I mean, there was some reports that said that it was a Category 5.
No, definitely.
Offshore.
It was 2 miles under a Category 5, but they had clocked 200. What was 150 is what makes a Category 5. Is that right?
Yep.
So, and they clocked this storm at 148, but there's tons of reports of 200-mile-an-hour wind gusts.
Yeah.
So it was a Cat 5 all day.
So having the peel and stick underlayment and having these, when you get a new roof, you're upgrading your roof and you're taking advantage of those discounts that you're talking about, right? So if you're a new homeowner and you're getting a new roof, you're going to want to make sure you have the peel and stick underlayment, the nailing of your decking, and possibly even the third nail, because that's going to allow for premium discounts on your policy. Yeah. And everybody needs those discounts right now because everybody's insurance is just skyrocketing.
Yeah, mine jumped 600. I've heard 1,000. Yours jumped what, 1,200?
Well, I mean, that wasn't over 1 year. But that's since I bought.
I have customers that their premium has gone up $1,000 for the whole year. Yeah,
and they got a new roof.
Yeah, well, they're in the process.
Right.
There's further discounts too, and those are window coverings.
Okay, the windows
where you have windows or doors or and you have it. There's all kinds of stuff to cover them with, but plywood don't count.
Right.
It has to be a permanent covering.
So
and when you get that gives you additional discounts.
Right.
So you can get your insurance down to, I'm not going to say it's reasonable, but if you take those type of precautions that we're talking about,
right.
You got a good chance to come through a storm without much damage at all.
Well, there's a lot of homeowners that I've met with that they're tired of having a shingle roof.
Yeah.
They look at these shingle roofs and they say, what if I upgraded to metal?
Metal. We're getting the metal question constantly.
What are the advantages? Actually, the insurance companies will provide you an additional discount if you have a metal roof compared to an asphalt shingle roof. So for homeowners that are interested in upgrading your roof to a metal roof, is that a good idea?
I believe so. I mean, they have a better warranty. When you're not talking a hurricane, you're just talking an average windstorm, which we get a few times a year in Florida. If we're pulling up on a lead or someone who's coming have us check for doing a damage assessment, if we're pull up on a shingle roof, there's a good chance we're going to find damage. If we're pulling up on a metal roof, good chance there's zero.
Right.
The metal roofs definitely last longer. That's been shown in this storm. Although with 200-mile-an-hour wind gusts, I have seen metal roofs peeled off as well.
Now, earlier in your career, you had said that you had put on a lot of metal roofs. And I remember the first metal roof that my dad put me on. I was at this big house and we were in like Hastings, Florida, and it was probably about 60 squares. Big. And we were just putting the metal roofs right on top of the shingles.
Over the shingles, yeah.
Just right on top of them. That's what everybody wanted in this town. And so
and that was code too.
Yeah, it was code at the time. Yeah, and things have changed a little bit, and certain counties do allow that. But so I'm up on this roof, and I'm walking, and I have these tennis shoes on, and they're like DCs. That's like a pretty good brand, right?
I mean, good grip. They're skate shoes.
Yeah, they're skate shoes, right? They're supposed to be for like gripping the roof. I'm like, yeah, that's
perfect.
That'll be a good thing to wear. So I go walking up on this metal roof, and it's like 2:00 in the afternoon, and the shoes, the soles of the shoes come unglued. And like came apart
while you're up there.
While I'm on the roof, and I'm making $120 a day.
Right.
my $120 shoes just broke, and I'm making like $120 a day. And like when you set up your company, that's what you guys went for, is the metal roofs.
Yeah,
really.
But I wish I could tell you that it was all about safety for the homeowner and all that. We could do a roof a day that way.
Okay.
Because you just pull up there and you had the metal ordered and you already had it cut.
No tear off.
Each sheet covered 3 foot wide.
Yeah.
So we were knocking out a roof a day at that time. Not a 60 square roof, but
No, that one took us a couple.
yeah, that took a while. But that was back then. But just think, the improvements since then. That roof wasn't re-nailed.
What was that in 2006, 2005?
Yeah, 2005. That roof wasn't re-nailed. The deck wasn't re-nailed.
That's correct.
The
So
code
they didn't
changed in
qualify for the wind
2006.
mitigation.
No, well, they didn't even have that.
Well, they didn't have
They
it.
didn't have it then.
They didn't even have that.
Changed in 2006.
Right.
After Charlie.
Wow.
And at that time, roofs go like this.
Mhm.
You know, there's a wall, and then there's a connection of the rafters to the wall.
Mhm.
Most of those were toe-nailed, if you know what that means.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And now you got all these straps and
Hurricane clips.
extra nails and hurricane clips and all that kind of stuff. So the roofs now are so much better than they were then.
Now, there's a lot of different types of metal roofs that people buy. You know, there's metal roofs that have screws visible called the exposed fasteners. And then there's also the standing seam metal roofs. Then there's the metal tile roofs, you know, the tile roofs that look like exactly like concrete tile, but they're actually metal. People don't even know it when they're driving by them.
And we're getting so many requests for those right now.
That's true.
One of two reasons. One, it is probably the nicest, in my opinion, of the roofs that you could get. The clay tiles kind of, I mean, it's good, but it's all aesthetic, right? It's not really protecting your roof. It's the underlayment that protects your roof. But the biggest reason that people are going for the metal tile is because the regular tile is so far out. What'd you say, 6 to 8 months?
Yeah.
Just to get the tile on the property,
Right.
where we can get the metal tile in about 3 weeks.
Right. Yeah. The metal roofs, the standing seam, like, for example, if you have a shingle roof and you are thinking about upgrading it to a metal roof, and let's say that you're not planning on living in that home for more than about 5 years, would it be worth it to do like a standing seam roof?
Probably not.
No.
You want to do an exposed fastener because the price jump from a standing seam to exposed fastener is significant.
It's a lot,
Yeah.
right? So a shingle roof, let's say you got a $20,000 shingle roof, you're probably going to be looking at about a $28,000 or $30,000 exposed fastener roof.
Right.
So it's about a third more. From a shingle roof to upgrade to a metal roof, you're looking at about a third more. And if you're planning on keeping that house, you're going to save that money in insurance costs. And then you're also the longevity of the metal roof. What are some of the wind ratings for the metal tile roofs?
Well, the metal tile right now is actually rated at 200 miles an hour for the metal tile.
That's unbelievable.
No,
and the
is.
shingles rated at what, 130?
130, yeah.
Yeah. So that's a big difference.
Yeah.
You know,
Especially coming off a storm like this. I mean, it was total devastation. I mean, you go down to places like Fort Myers Beach where there was literally nothing standing. I mean, everyone's trying to protect their house the best they can.
right.
I do think metal is a good option and a good upgrade.
Yeah, I agree. I have a lot of homeowners that when I go to meet with them and I sit down and talk with them about their project, they want me to walk them through what exactly happens, you know? And so what happens? When does the dumpster come? When do the materials come? As the sales manager, walk us through what Douglas Restoration does.
So you're talking just the job from start to
from
finish.
the start to finish once the crew, gets there.
Yeah. So basically, and again, times can vary based on like tile and if we're going to get the tile, but most jobs take anywhere from 3 days to 5 days, right? But typically, best case scenario, day one, or we're going to show up about a day before with the dumpster, right?
Okay,
we're going to need the driveway cleared. We're going to want to put the dumpster. We use dump trailers. They have tires, so you don't really have to worry about it damaging the driveway.
Okay.
If you did have like a stamped concrete or pavers, we would protect the driveway. But if it's a concrete driveway, we're going to put the dumpster there about a day before. Day one, we're going to tear everything off down to the wood. Then we're going to assess the wood. If there's any rotten wood or anything we would consider unnailable, right? Any kind of rotten wood, we'll go ahead and fix that.
And then we're going to dry it there.
How
much? I mean, there's a lot of weather in Florida, right?
Yeah.
A lot of rain.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? We got lots of storms and rains come through. And I can't understand, how people, they have all this rotted wood on, they're breathing that in.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
Yeah, it is.
It doesn't, it's not just you have a rotted board. You have fungi growing in your attic.
Yeah.
like you can't leave that there.
No,
You
no,
know,
no. The black mold's a major problem.
You know, so we tear off the roof and then we take a look at the plywood.
Yep, we're going to tear everything down to the wood, and then we take a look at the plywood. And if there's any soft spots, if there's anything rotted or like I said, considered unnailable,
Right.
we got to fix that.
Yeah.
Right. So we're going to fix the rotted wood, and then we're going to do a complete re-nail. I mean, most of these homes haven't been brought up to that 6-inch code like we were talking
Right.
about.
The nailing of the
Yep.
decking.
So we'll re-nail, and then we're going to dry everything in with the peel and stick like we spoke about. That's day one.
Right.
Day two, we're going to schedule the inspection. The inspector's going to come out. We're kind of on their schedule at that point. The inspectors are so busy and so overwhelmed, just like everyone is at this point. But typically, day two, they come out, do the inspection. We pass the nailing inspection. That's
okay. So you're saying that for every permit that it requires, multiple inspections.
Yeah, absolutely.
And does the homeowner, do they have to worry about that?
No, not at all. We'll schedule it. We'll have them there. A lot of times the homeowner doesn't even know the inspector came, In some cities, they're actually doing virtual inspections where they'll let us log into an app like a FaceTime. And the inspector's going to say, okay, show me the permit board. We're going to walk over, show them the permit board. They're going to have us go up on the roof, show them our nail pattern, and they're actually doing it virtually to kind of make it go through a little faster.
Mike, how has that changed in the industry with the permits?
Unbelievable. when I was doing it, you had to provide a ladder for the inspector.
Oh, they did have the permits and inspections.
Yeah, I was down in Dade County and Broward County, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, and you had to put the ladder out there, and most of the time they got stolen before the inspector got there.
Yeah,
that's a fact.
Really?
Oh yeah, I had a guy just ran around putting ladders up.
Listen to this story. So we had this inspector that was going up on this tile roof to take a look at it, and tell us what happened to that guy whenever he went to go look at that roof, that inspector. You remember what happened?
Yeah, there was a power cord running up there, or it might have been a gun nail hose. But anyway, he was going up the ladder and tripped on the hose.
Oh gosh, fell?
Oh yeah, fell, and he was warned before he got on the ladder. Watch out for the.
Now they make us put our ladders for this guy to walk
right.
on. And then he falls off of our ladder. And then
so he sues us and we lose, of course.
You got sued for that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
For him falling off of your ladder that you were forced to
it was tied off and everything.
Yeah.
Like it was.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. This is Miami for you. That's why we don't roof there anymore.
It was insane.
So so I guess homeowners would want to know, like, how does that work if someone falls off their roof?
Yeah. Well, let's get through the process of the inspection. So you were at, so the city comes over, they look at the dry end, right?
Yep.
They have to sign off on that before we can put the shingles.
Yep. So they're going to do the dry end inspection, check the nailing pattern, make sure that we're doing everything up to code and the proper techniques. And then day 3, we come back and put the roofing on.
What if the homeowner takes the permit inside?
The permit does need to be posted outside. That's happened before.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
Yeah.
Homeowner, don't touch the permit.
Yeah.
Do not touch it.
What about my flowers?
Yeah. Yeah. We had to protect those. Right?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of landscaping in Florida. A lot of people spend a lot of money,
big money
making their houses look beautiful with the tropical
A lot of
plants.
HOA communities too.
A lot of HOA.
Yeah. And those paver driveways and, so once the crew comes out, what is the office doing during this whole time while this is all happening?
Well, we have a pretty big staff that's handling and managing the whole project, right? So they're in contact with our crews, which all of our crews are in-house. So we're in contact with the crews, getting constant updates. We use different apps where everyone can see the photos, live as it's going on. So as soon as the crew gets there, they're going to take pictures of the house before and after, because, occasionally we want to make sure there's no damage pre-existing that they could possibly blame our crews on. So they're going to take pictures through the process. They'll take pictures through it, and that's constantly being monitored by our office staff. And then making sure that we've done everything correctly to the nail pattern, to the nail code, scheduling the appointment for the inspector to get out there.
Yeah, closing out that permit.
Yeah, closing out the permit as soon as it's done.
Yeah, as far as like, a homeowner that's getting ready to have a roof done, and they're worried that they bit off more than they can chew, right? Financially.
Yeah.
Right. They have How often do you think that happens? Like how much times does a homeowner hire somebody and barely have enough money to pay them?
You'd probably be better at answering that question, but what do you think, Mike?
Well, I'd say that it's somewhere in the 80th percentile.
Okay.
You know, I think people worried about, unless it's an insurance claim.
Right.
Yeah.
So explain
But
that.
if they're, well, there's two types of roofs in the roofing business, and that's retail, where that's coming out of the homeowner's pocket. And then there's an insurance claim,
right.
where the insurance company is either paying 100% for the roof or some portion of it.
Right.
And those are the ones who aren't worried.
Right, because they have insurance funds.
Because they have those funds to work with. But the homeowner who's paying out of pocket, roofs aren't cheap.
Yeah.
The materials, Stephen, you can tell us better than I can what the materials have gone up in the last 5 years. It's astronomical.
I can tell you this: just since the storm, we've had 2 price hikes.
Yeah. At one time, plywood was $100 a sheet.
Yeah.
Right. COVID happened, and then I mean, we've just been going through so many changes as an industry with, legislation changes, insurance policy laws changing. COVID happened, and people were scared to have people in their homes.
Yeah.
And then now in Florida, that's kind of gone away. Actually, it was kind of funny because 2 days ago, I met with this client, and they had an attorney that had gotten the settlement for them because the insurance company wasn't paying. And so this guy, I knock on the door. He comes to the door with a mask on. And I'm like, I don't have one.
Right.
And he invites me in, and he's like, do you have a mask? And I'm like, no, I'm sorry. Can you provide me with one? And so I had to put on a mask for the first time in a year.
Yeah.
I
remember working through COVID when it was at its peak, and you bought some Douglas masks, and then we all had masks, and homeowners were scared to have us in the home.
Yeah, they were.
And that was a big push for DocuSign or electronic signature.
Yeah.
It kind of pushed that through, where the paper contracts gone out the window. We're all electronic now.
So can a homeowner get an estimate without actually meeting with a rep?
Absolutely. I mean, we prefer for the homeowner to be there. Because as we touched on earlier, a lot of people don't understand how their insurance policies work.
Right.
So when it comes to insurance, there may be some questions that you want to talk with your salesman or any expert about that you may not know the whole insurance process. But absolutely, we do send salesmen out to the property. We want to get real pictures, not just go 100% off of satellite.
Right.
But absolutely, a homeowner could get a salesman out there, take some pictures, and we'll get them a bid within 48 hours.
So let's say a homeowner had been through Hurricane Ian, and they already have their insurance claim. Insurance company has wrote them a check, and now they have money for their roof.
Mm-hmm.
They go out and they contact 3 different roofers. One roofer says, here's my price. The other roofer says, I'm going to beat his price.
Mm-hmm.
The third roofer comes over and says, can I see your insurance company's paperwork? Why are they asking for that?
Well, there's a lot of things, right? So that's a lot to unpack. But one thing is that if a homeowner is not well versed on the insurance process, right, the insurance company is going to withhold depreciation. And what I find is a lot of homeowners don't understand how that works at all. I don't know how many times I've been to
they
a
don't
homeowner.
Understand it at all.
No, and they say, oh well, you say my roof's going to cost $16,000 and insurance only gave me $8,000.
Right.
So let me take a look at your insurance paperwork. Well, they gave you $8,000, but they're holding another $8,000.
Right.
So you actually have the $16,000 to pay for your roof, and that's
so insurance company doesn't just write the check for the whole entire thing.
Mm-mm.
They hold back a portion of the money.
Yeah.
And in order to get that money, the homeowner has to provide receipts and invoices.
Pictures.
So if they choose, okay, so the 3 roofers came over, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first roofer gave a price. The second roofer came over and said, I'm going to beat his price by $2,500. Who did they save?
The insurance.
They saved their insurance company $2,500. Congratulations. You just saved your insurance company.
Because the homeowner doesn't get that money.
No.
It's illegal to make money on an insurance claim.
Right. So choosing the cheapest roofer is it only helps the insurance company.
Right. And you know what else isn't on that estimate? The rotten wood that we talked about. So it's impossible for them to tell if a homeowner has rotten wood or not, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't know the insurance process and your roofer's telling you I had to change out 10 pieces of wood, guess who has to pay for that?
Right.
A homeowner. But if you deal with a company that does know, like us, the insurance process, we're able to supplement for that kind of stuff.
We have a whole team.
Yeah.
You know, we have literally a team of people that their whole job is to gather the estimate, send them to the insurance company, send them the pictures, send them the completion documents, all the warranty, the final inspection, and then the insurance company will release those payments.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times homeowners get frustrated during this process because their roofer, the cheap roofer that they hired, that was $2,500 less than everybody, he's not going to want to wait for the money.
He's got to be paid right then.
He wants to get paid when the last shingle gets nailed,
Yep.
right? I mean,
He don't care about the inspections or anything else. He wants his money.
Right. And so one of the biggest topics in the roofing industry right now is financing a roof. You know, there's a lot of homeowners that don't have insurance claims coming in. Let's say that they're not in this hurricane market. Let's say, I mean, because we service roofs in Port St. Lucie, on the East Coast, on the West Coast, in Orlando.
Yeah.
They didn't get hit by a hurricane, but they need roofs.
Yeah.
And they don't have money to pay for it. What kind of options do you train your salesmen on? Because you're the sales manager.
Yeah.
You need to make sure they're equipped to teach the homeowners about what their options are.
Yeah. We do offer financing. There's a lot of different options that we can go through. We've been speaking about the insurance option, but let's just say insurance is out of it. We have finance options as well, right? We have one program that is 12 months, same as cash. I mean, you don't pay nothing on interest. It's 12 months. So as long as you can come up with that money in 12 months, it's the same as cash. I mean, who wouldn't want to be bought an extra 12 months to take care of their project?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's people that need that financing.
Yeah.
There's people that they want to finance their roof for 120 months. And so basically it's about what, 10% interest? Is that what the going rate is?
10% right now interest, which is actually pretty good considering how interest rates are going up nationwide.
Yeah. Home loans.
10% interest. It's going to be cheaper than pulling out an equity line.
Right. Yeah. A lot of people, they're being forced by someone else to replace their roof.
Yeah.
We talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
Insurance company sends the homeowner a letter. And what does that letter say?
It says you have X amount of days until you need to either have a new roof or some of them give you a repair option. Some of them actually do inspections and say, geez, you got 20 track tiles. You got to fix all those and we can renew your policy. But all the latest legislation is moving away from giving you a chance to fix it to mandating a 30-day or 60-day thing to get a new roof or find a new company.
Yeah. And so typically, how much time are they giving people in advance to get a roof replaced? Because a lot of roofing companies are very busy right now, especially in this market, right? I mean, some companies are 8 to 12 weeks out. Other companies are 4 to 6 months out. What about Douglas Restoration? If a customer comes into your office and says, Brendan, we want one of your salesmen to come over here, take a look at our roof. When can it be done?
So we'll get a salesman out the very next day. That's not a problem getting a salesman out. And if you sign a contract with us as of today, we are 8 to 10 weeks out.
Okay.
Yeah. So about 2 months, you'll have to wait. We've been in business for 10 years. We're local. There's plenty of roofers in town after this major storm from, Ohio or Texas.
So many trucks in town.
And I'm sure they won't have a problem coming back, doing a repair in 2 years if your roof's leaking. I'm sure the guy from Ohio will shoot right down.
Yeah.
Right.
And we have all kinds of wind events in Florida. I mean, constantly.
Constantly. We're moving into storm season,
right?
Which, in Florida in general isn't season because people are here in the winter, but it seems like the snowbirds go back. But the locals are dealing with rain every single day in the summer. Not even talking hurricanes, just regular summer days. You got winds blowing in at sometimes 60, 70 mile an hour winds blowing in at 3 o'clock almost every day. So your roof's under duress constantly in the state of Florida.
So let's say that there's a homeowner and they have a 15-year-old roof, shingle roof, 15 years old. Insurance companies are giving them a hard time. Is it worth for them to try and, hold on to that older roof? Or is it better for them to just bite the bullet, maybe do the financing, get a new roof, get the lower rate? A lot of people are holding on to these older roofs.
Yeah. Well, the major thing is that you're going to get those discounts that we spoke about, right? So it is beneficial. If the insurance company is threatening you on a 15-year-old roof, it's going to be more beneficial for you to get it upgraded because you're going to be brought up to nail code. We're going to use the peel and stick, which is a secondary water barrier, and you're just going to get a better roof. Now, do people want to hear that? No, probably not. You got a 25-year warranty on your roof, and they're making you fix it when it should have 10 years of life left. But in Florida, like I said, your roof is constantly under duress.
Now, let's say that a homeowner has a company come out and they give them an estimate. They go with the estimate. The roof gets put on and there's a problem. Something went wrong. What do you do as a homeowner? What do you do if you're not happy with your roofer? Like I'm asking you, Mike. What is it?
Well, we have our office when it happens to us, which it does occasionally.
Yeah.
We have them schedule an appointment with either you or me.
Right.
And we go out and we listen to the homeowner's story,
Mm-hmm.
and we look at the problem that they're discussing, and we have people that we send out there to take care of it. You and I take pictures of it, and we make what we call a punch list.
Right.
And that punch list is things that the crew didn't know to do. Sometimes we have a lack of communication between the sales staff and the production staff.
Mm-hmm.
Happens.
Right.
When you're doing 30 roofs a week, it's a wonder it doesn't happen more. But
I had a lady yesterday. I met her at a house. She said she wasn't happy with the job that we didn't finish. I go over there, the roof's done, everything's good, right? She comes over there and she says, "Hey, look at this soffit right here. The salesman told me that this was going to be included. And this piece is hanging down and it's not been done." Well, none of our paperwork said to do it or anything.
Right.
But the salesman had told her that we'd be taking care of it, but it didn't make it to the paperwork. There's other things that happen during a job, such as, you could have a leak, you could have a area of your roof that doesn't look right, you could have failed inspection. Why is it important to hire a company like Douglas Restoration? What do we bring to the table? Why are we reputable? Why do we stand behind things?
So I would say our workmanship warranty is pretty important, right? Most companies give a 2 or a 5-year workmanship warranty.
2 years, 5 years.
We give a 10-year workmanship warranty. We'll stand behind our product for 10 years. If you have any leaks, if you have any issues at all, just call us up. Mike or Steven will come out, assess it, and then we'll get the punch guy out there to take care of it.
Hey, it might be you too. So.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. We stand behind our work, and that's why I like working for this company.
Yeah.
And it's important to go with a company that is going to provide a workmanship warranty.
Right.
As I said, the shingles themselves have a 25-year limited lifetime warranty, but that's only going to come into play if you get a bad batch from the manufacturer. They're not going to, if it's installed correctly, it's important to look at what the workmanship warranty would be from the company that you choose. We give a 10.
And so what kind of licensing does a roofer have to have?
In the state of Florida, you have to have a roofing license, contractors.
And people ask me, "Are you licensed with the Better Business Bureau?"
Better Business Bureau doesn't do licensing.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
But we do have a good rating with the Better Business Bureau.
Yeah, and people put a lot of stock into like online reputations. What can you say about Douglas Restoration online reputation?
Yeah, so I think we have at this point almost 200 Google reviews, 5-star Google reviews. I think we're 4.5-star rated. We are 5-star with the Better Business Bureau. Is that correct?
A+.
A+ with the Better
Right,
Business
right.
A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Online reputation is everything, right? Because it's no longer, the days of a neighbor telling another neighbor is so much bigger now, right? Because everyone posts everything on social media, and that's where the attention is going to be on platforms like.
Yeah, nowadays, a homeowner, it's a lot different than when you were in the roofing industry and you had your company. There wasn't Facebook, there wasn't like Google reviews. So if somebody had a complaint, they actually had to face the contractor and meet face to face and figure it out.
That's right. That's right.
And now it's so different.
Well, you can tell more stories than I can about that, because I've gone out to see some people and reached an agreement with them about whatever their problem was. Look, you broke my statue.
Right.
And I said, okay, well, I'll get you a new one. Do you want to buy it, or do you want me to buy it? And they'll put a review online about we broke their statue, but they don't go back and say anything about that we stood behind it.
Right. Yeah.
And that's a problem these days.
Keyboard warriors.
Yeah.
No
face to face, just keyboard. Everybody's brave.
What I always tell my clients when I'm meeting with them as a salesman, if I'm selling them a roof, I say, listen, if anything goes wrong during your project, and if you're not happy for whatever reason, don't just go online and bash me, right? Call me up. I'll sit down with you. We'll go over it. We'll figure out if anything's wrong with your roof. And if something's wrong, I will fix it. Yeah. You don't have to go bash me online. That doesn't help anybody. I have a business. I have families that depend on this business's reputation to sustain their families. Yeah. And just going online bashing people. I mean, why do people do that?
Well, and I can attest, for the 5 years I've worked for this company, we've gone above and beyond many, many times. I've seen you guys pay for things that might have not necessarily even been our fault. But it's good to work for a company that will stand behind. There's tons of companies in town that don't do that. That don't do things like that. They deny, they don't take responsibility for their actions, but we do. I'm proud to work for a company that does that.
Yeah, it's one of the things that one of our mottos is we do right by our customer. So if we feel that we've done something that's our fault, that we damaged your property, we take full responsibility, and we'll pay to make it right, whether we can fix it in-house or we have to hire somebody. If something goes wrong during your project, we'll be there to make sure that it gets taken care of.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because we're good people. That's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
We're not out to take people's money. Are there people out there that just, I mean, how many roofers out of 10 are scammers?
Oh, out of 10, I would say 7.
Because that's a big thing in our industry is they'll say, hey, listen, don't trust those roofers.
Yeah. Oh,
don't pay the roofer.
Name. But it's just like in any business, there's quality companies, and then there's scammers that are just out there to take people's money.
Right.
Real quick, the first year I worked for you guys, we did my sister's roof, right? And I get a call from my brother-in-law, and what happened was it was a summer roof. A storm came in, guys got off the roof, covered everything up, of course, but a shingle had blown off and hit his truck. By the time I got a call, you guys had already taken care of it and scheduled for his truck to get painted, not even knowing that it was a family member of mine. You had no way of knowing that, and you took care of that right away. And I tell that story when I'm with customers sometimes, that if stuff happens, you couldn't control that shingle blew off the roof and hit someone's truck, and you stood up. You could have talked your way out of it. That wasn't from us or whatever.
Right.
You did the right thing.
So if you're a homeowner, right, and you're looking to get an estimate, how do homeowners go about finding a roofer, do you think? Do they go on Google? Do they ask their neighbor?
There's a little bit of all of that, right? There's signs, there's names that ring bells. They go on Facebook. There's groups for each city, probably has a group. There's Cape Coral forums, Port Charlotte forums, and people usually ask in those type of deals. Also, if you've done a good job and for a neighbor,
right,
they're going to call you. We get tons of referrals just from yard signs.
That's got to be the best type of advertising.
I think so.
Hey, I'm in a neighborhood, I'm doing a roof, and the neighbor says, hey, this guy's doing a good job.
Yeah.
Get an estimate from him.
Yeah. Look, just show them your roof. They did a great job on my house. That's the best kind of advertising.
Right. Yeah. And so you had mentioned before that if somebody calls the office and says, I want an estimate from Douglas Restoration. Tell me what happens from that point.
So what we're going to do is find out what's the best time for that homeowner, and then we're going to give it to one of our sales staff. I think we have 25 sales guys at the moment. So it's going to go to one of the sales guys, and they're going to come out pretty much the very next day.
I heard you have a lot of girls working for you.
We have a few girls. Some of our top sales people are women.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have a lot of girl salesmen.
Yeah, and they're good.
They're very good.
Yeah.
And I never thought, I mean, my whole company is ran by women at the office.
100%.
Women are in the roofing industry.
Absolutely.
Big time. I don't know what we're doing in here talking about it. But,
your wife probably knows more about roofing than all of us.
Yeah. So the salesman, he goes out, he schedules the time, right?
Schedule the time, go to meet with the homeowner, walk out to the property. First thing we're going to do is assess the damage, right? We're going to take a look at what we're looking at. Is it a repair? Every roof that we go on doesn't need a new roof. You got a 10-year-old roof that is not missing any shingles and maybe just missing one little piece of ridge. We're going to recommend a repair on that.
Right.
So he's going to go out, assess the damage, go over the options, whether it's retail or insurance, because in this climate, I mean, everyone has hurricane damage.
Right.
So we're going to assess those options. Maybe insurance isn't a play. Maybe it is.
Right. And do you teach the salesman like tactics to sell the homeowner? Like, I mean,
no, I don't think that. I don't.
Is it like a high pressure?
So I've done every kind of sales that you could imagine, right?
Gosh.
And the best part about these sales is the people actually need your product,
right?
And two, it's not selling, right? If you're selling, you're not giving somebody, you're not selling somebody something that they don't need. They need a roof.
Yeah.
So they need to pick a roofing company. So our sales point is we've been in business for 10 years. We know what we're doing. Look at our track record. Mm-hmm. And you're really just selling the company to stand out from the other companies in town.
Yeah. And so if the homeowner needs a new roof, or they're thinking about it, or they want an inspection, Mike, what do you tell them? Are you a salesman that pushes for a signature? Like how do you do it?
Well, I try to find out what they need, and I try to just let them know that I can handle what they need. Yeah. And I try to make friends with them. Mm-hmm. I try to establish.
But genuinely, right? I mean, you genuinely care.
Yeah. I want to make sure that whatever we do for them is going to take care of their need. Mm-hmm. And if it's something we can't do, I'll tell them that we can't do it. And so I'll give them the price for what we can do it for. And, they'll either jump on it right then, or I give them my cell phone and I tell them to call me. Don't call the office.
Here's what's funny. Every time I go to a homeowner's house that he's been to, they love him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They're like, "Where's your dad at?" And I'm like, "Oh, he couldn't make it today, Just me today." Yeah. Just me.
Well, I have the same experience when I go behind you. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's not many of our salesmen that make a bad impression.
No,
Brendan.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. We're not pushy. It's not like that. You want to listen, right? You want to hear what the homeowner wants and see if we can accommodate.
We've had salesmen that are pressure guys.
Yeah.
And they don't sell as much as the non-pressure guys.
No, they don't.
Okay. Well, we're wrapping up our first episode here of our first podcast. I hope it's one of many.
Yeah,
I really do. I've had a good time today talking to you guys about this roofing. We'll just wrap it up by, going around the room. And if there's one thing that you want to tell a homeowner about the company or about what you can do for them, what would you say that is, Mike?
Well, I think that on future podcasts, you should get some of the women in here that make the wheels turn, because they see us once. They see me 2 or 3 times. They may see you 2 or 3 times. They probably won't see Brendan because he's pushing the buttons. But our girls and all our crews, they depend on these homeowners for a living. And they want them to have a quality product. I'm sure there's some guys that don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're just a laborer and don't know what's going on. But the ones that are in charge, they want every homeowner to have a good experience.
Absolutely.
And it's upsetting when they don't.
And I would just say that, we're family. Like everyone in our office, aside from actually being family, like, this is your dad, it's you and your wife, and everywhere in between, cousins, aunts, and friends. But we're all one big DRI family. We're in June, we'll be in business for 10 years, which is something to stand on. I mean, you should be really proud of yourselves. And I think that's what we bring to the table for the customer as well. We make them part of the DRI fam. We take care of them like their family. We're going to do the right thing if anything bad does happen. And we're honestly helping people, right? A lot of these people, when we talk about the insurance stuff, they don't understand because they haven't been told by anyone but the insurance company that's not trying to pay, that's trying to pay as least as possible. So you want someone, an expert, a family member to be in your corner. If you had a cousin in the roofing industry, that's who you would call first. I want homeowners to look at us like that.
Right. Well, I never dreamed that I would be doing, 35, 40 roofs in a week. When I first started, and went out on my own, got my own company, I was doing a couple of roofs a week. Then it went to one roof a day. And now we're doing all these roofs, and I just want our customers to know that I'm accessible. I'll come meet with you if something went wrong.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't ever want to get too big for that.
Yeah.
If you aren't happy with your price, if you're not happy with your salesman, your crew, the reception, any part of my company, if the homeowner's not happy with it, I'll get in my truck, I'll come to your house, and we'll work it out. And that's my promise to the customers. And I'm out every day doing that. People know that they can meet with Stephen Douglas, and I hope that people have a good experience, because that's what I want to leave behind, is a good experience. I don't go to the houses to get yelled at, though. People have to be respectful, right? Yeah. They have to treat me with respect, and I treat them with respect, and we get along, and we get through any problem that we have. And not that there's problems all the time, but in a big company like this, things happen. We break somebody's statue, we tore somebody's screen or something like that. There's things that happen in roofing, and we stand behind our work. We got the 10-year workmanship warranty. We have all the crews that we have are trained by the manufacturers. We do metal, shingles, tile, metal tile. If you need a roof estimate, give us a call, 941-628-3115. That's the office line. And if anybody, needs an estimate, reach out to Brendan's team. They'll get you taken care of. I'm Stephen Douglas. That's the end of podcast 1. Thank you so much for tuning in.